Good morning, good morning. It's Monday morning, bright and early. Well, not bright yet, but early. I apologize for the tardiness of this video. My expectation was to record this and post it yesterday. Sat down to do so and found that Moodle, Blackboard, etc. was not working, and the only thing I could get into was my email. So that was down for most of the day. It came back up just in time for me when I had to leave for an appointment, which of course ran quite a bit longer than expected, and I didn't get home till late last night and did not have time to record last night. So we're going to record it here this morning and get it posted. I expect this to be the first of 3 videos. This first one is a welcome to the course video. If you were in class on Wednesday, you probably don't need to watch this. I will break it up into 3 segments, the first being the welcome, the second is going to be some chapter 1 material that we covered in class, and then the third and final one, I'm going to walk through the first assignment and how to complete that. So we'll get started here right away, and I say welcome to CSC134, Introduction to Programming with C++. My name is Kevin Holleran. I'll be teaching the course this semester, and we have had some scheduling issues, I know, where the class was on some people's schedule at the central campus in the Levine Technology Building, and some people's schedule it was room 5132, and other people's schedule it was room 1309, some people's schedule it was in Matthews. On my schedule it showed at the central campus, but the room number 1309 was right. On my contract I had to sign saying I was going to teach, it said something different, so it's been all over the place. The class is held at the Levine campus in Matthews in room 1309. So you come in the building, if you come right in the front doors, you can take the elevator, the steps down, head toward your left there, and go past the lab. There's a stairwell with a little nook behind it with some classrooms. We're back there, room 1309. We meet Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. So we're going to jump right into a bunch of material here. The first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm a part-time instructor with CPCC, been doing it for the last couple of years. This is my first time teaching this course, so there will be just a few growing pains here and there, but for the most part, once we get going, get everybody in the classroom appropriately, I don't see a whole lot of issues. My background is in information security. I work as the leading the information security and risk team at Sonic Automotive, just down the street from the central campus. My interests are in security strategic planning, in penetration testing, into digital forensics and incident response, which I do quite a bit. Do a lot of boring things like write policies. I deal a lot with information risks and doing risk assessments and security assessments where I'll evaluate information or how we're handling information or how we're working with a third party and make sure that we point out and determine any potential risks to our information assets. Do a lot with security assessments where I'll actually assess new locations or new pieces of software or new services. It's kind of like a penetration test where we're trying to identify if there are any security risks. So we've got the risk assessment piece, which typically comes first, where you're evaluating all the controls and how people say they're handling things. And then the security assessment will come second, where you're actually doing validation as to whether those controls are actually in place. So that's a lot of what I do. My reason for getting into teaching is simply to give back to the community. I got out of college after a bunch of academic scholarships. Everything came relatively easy. I got out of college and suddenly had a hard time getting a job and really finding that niche that I would like. And so it took me a few years and a few different jobs before I kind of got into a security role and found out that, hey, this security role's half technical and half management and dealing with people. And I like that. I don't want to sit behind a screen all day and just code or just do this or that. So I found that I was very good at that and really enjoyed it. And so it took some time for my career to get into that. And my goal in teaching is to help people in the field to expose them and answer questions and help them determine where their niche is. One of the things that I'll key in on quite a bit in this semester is that everything you do has to drive a business value. And so when you're working, especially in a technical field, people tend to lose sight of that fact. Lose sight of the fact that anything they do has to be able to be traced back to some kind of value to the organization. So maybe your core competency is technical, and so maybe the technical is the value, but more than likely you're going to be working in a supporting role in an organization. For instance, we're a dealer group. We sell cars. We have dealerships all over the country, and it's hard to show a direct ROI on the work you do in security or even in a technical field. And so you want to make sure that you're able to translate it to business value. So I highly recommend, if you're in a technical field, to get a business minor. Consider maybe some kind of exposure to those types of courses, be able to show that in your background. So I'm a big fan of Big Ten football and hockey. I played hockey, Division II hockey up in Michigan, where I'm from. Moved down to Charlotte a few years ago with my family, but I'll probably talk about hockey quite a bit. And I'm a big family person. I love I have 3 kids. My wife and I live with our kids in Matthews, and I just love spending time with my kids. And you probably hear me talk about them quite a bit. If you're in class early on Wednesday, then you saw them in the room as they stopped by, and we're drawing on the board and things like that. So that's pretty much me, and I'm just going to talk about some expectations real quick for the class, what I expect from you and what you can expect from me. I will be attentive. I will respond to emails. I will post videos for support. I'll be available to you. I'll answer questions in class. We'll start class right on time. I will more than likely be able to be in class by 5:30 every Wednesday, but I don't like to guarantee that, as sometimes I'll end up in a meeting or something late on the day and have to be closer to 6, or with my job, especially with the instant response factor, where sometimes I just have to jump on a plane at a moment's notice to go do an investigation. There have been times when I've flown back in just in time to run down to the classroom. So I'll try to let you know and post. I will use Moodle and post on announcements very frequently. Be my main communication mechanism to you. But I will more than likely be able to be there by 5:30 every week, and I will stay after until 9 as in office hours, if you will, where if you need extra help or you want to work on your assignments. Class ends at 10 to 8. I'll stick around till 9. If nobody is there, if the classroom is empty at 7:51, I'm going to be out of there too. I'm not going to hang around in an empty classroom, but if you are staying, I will be more than happy to stay until about 9 o'clock. It's Monday morning. I got into the office about 10 to 7 this morning, so by the time 9 o'clock comes around in the evening, it's been a long day, and so usually 9 o'clock I look to shut it down. So the other thing we'll do is a virtual office hours. I'm still working on the details of that. This video is being broadcast on YouTube. I'm actually using Google Hangout, and we may end up going that route. That's what I've used in the past, but I've been told that I have a WebEx license that I can use to hold a virtual office hours. Basically, to allow you to see my face and interact with me, allow me to share up my screen, which I'm going to do in a moment, to allow you to share your screen back to me, those kinds of things where we can interact if you're running into issues. That will be held noon to 1 on Sundays. So I'll get out of church, get home, get through emails, get situated, and then by noon I will open up the WebEx and I'll stay till 1. Again, if nobody's on, I'll shut it down at 12:30, 12:45 if nobody's shown up, which has happened in the past. But as long as people are there, I'll hang out till 1 o'clock, and then you can get the help, extra help that you need while you're working on your assignments. All assignments will be due the Tuesday before class by 11 p.m. So you've got to turn them in online through Code Lab and through Moodle. So you'll be uploading the documentation that you've done the work, your source code. So just make sure that you don't wait till the last minute, because when you're uploading online, things happen. Maybe your internet goes out at your house. Maybe Moodle's having issues like it did yesterday. Whatever those cases are, it will be the expectation that you will turn your assignments in and have backup plans. Make sure you have a way to get to the lab. Make sure that you have a backup internet connection or a computer. Don't leave it till 10 to 11 and then have your upload timeout because of some reason, and then suddenly you're not able to turn the assignment in. My expectations from you will be that you will show up to class, that you will do your work, you will give yourself extra time so that if you have issues when you go to compile your code, if there are errors, that you'll be able to fix them, that you will use the resources you have. So that means if you're struggling, that you will stay after for office hours, that you will be on the virtual session, and that you will email me. This is a hard course. It's like learning a brand new language. once you get past all the syntax and how you actually write the code, I don't think it's really that hard, but what you're seeing is a brand new language that you've never been exposed to. And so for that, it is difficult. If you have a background in programming, great. And if you've taken a Java course, which a few people in the class have, that's a great background. You'll be most of the way there. There's some syntactical differences between C++ and Java and how you handle things. Some of the more advanced topics get quite a bit different, but we won't get to that this semester anyway. But my expectation for you, again, is that you'll do your work, that you'll use the resources you have, that you'll tell me how you're doing, that you'll pay attention in class. One thing is that I ask that you show the respect that when I'm talking, that you're not surfing the internet on computers and things like that. So I just want to make sure that you're not being disrespectful, that you're getting everything you can out of the class, and that you're not distracting any other students who are trying to learn in the class. So with that, that's pretty much the introduction piece to the course. Now I want to walk through Moodle and talk about the syllabus real quick, and also talk about the assignments and the IDE, the integrated development environment that we're going to use in the class, which is going to help you write your code. So I'm going to share out my screen here. Okay, so real quick, this is the Google Hangout that I'm posting right now. This is my Google Plus account that I use for teaching. It is prof.halloran@gmail.com. You are more than welcome to email me at that address. One thing I mentioned in class is that I have to tell you that I use my CPCC email. So, and I do, and I will check that several times a day, but it doesn't come to all my devices due to some of the agreements you have to make to allow CPCC basically to be able to remotely wipe your phone and do some other things. So I'm not willing to agree to those terms. So I have to check it through Outlook Web Access. So I highly recommend emailing both my CPCC and my Gmail account. And then my Gmail account, that stuff comes to both my Droid tablets, to my laptop, to my iPad, to my iPhone, to everything I own. And so I'm more likely to be able to respond quicker or to start looking into your issue if you send it from that to that email address. So, and this, if we use Google Hangouts, that will be the account that you will connect to on the Google Hangouts. The Google Hangout issue is that you can only have 10 people on there at a time, and we have 19 people in the class. So if everybody tried to get on there, then we could have some challenges. But I'll know more hopefully next week. I've reached out and asked for more details on the WebEx, and I just haven't quite heard back yet. So that's that. Moodle. There you go. Okay, let's talk about Moodle now. Moodle is what we're going to use in this class. So this is CSC134 07, Section 7. So welcome C++ programming. All the course info is here. Under course info, we've got instructor announcements. This is going to be a big section here. You can see I've already got several out there. You should receive these via email every time I post as well. So welcome to CS134. Click on it. You can read through it. You should have received this email. Again, classes at Levine campus in Matthews from 6 to 7:15 and 13:09. Next thing I want to bring up, course descriptions and outcomes. It's just kind of telling you the course overview of what's going on in this course and what you're expected to learn. Next up is going to be the syllabus. So let's go ahead and I will share out the syllabus I just opened here. Again, Wednesdays, Levine campus. I'm going to keep reiterating that. We don't need to worry about the prereqs. You're already in the course. Textbook. And I'm going to show more about this in just a minute here. But starting out with C++ edition, 8th edition. If you have a previous edition, I have no idea if it has what we need. So I've got to tell you that it's the 8th edition. Ebooks or Kindle versions, you can't bring them to the test. The tests are open book, the exams. and you need to have a physical copy of the book. Okay, so if you do the Kindle version, then you won't be able to bring it in with you on the exam. Last withdrawal date, if you want to drop from the class for W, is 2/19. This is me. Again, there's my email address. We talked about office hours. There's course description. Feel free to read through that. It's very good if you do. This is going to be a hard course. It does involve critical thinking. It's not going to be something where you memorize a concept and then regurgitate it in a fill in the blank or multiple guess exam. That's not what it is. You're going to be taking requirements. You're going to be turning them into source code and applications that solve the issues. Grading scale is listed on the syllabus here. We're going to keep scrolling down. Just note that assignments are due by 11. Don't wait till last minute. There are issues where it takes several minutes for some of the assignments to upload. Don't start uploading one past maybe quarter to 11 or 20 to 11, or it may time out and you may run into issues. EVA. If you did not make it to class on Wednesday, you need to get the EVA assignment done right away or you'll be dropped from the course. We'll talk about more in just a minute on that. You are expected to be in class, and you are expected to do work at home. We used to call this homework, but apparently now you get credit for it, and it's called the lab. So, stay after in office hours. Use the labs. Make sure you know where the labs are. Make sure you understand what the lab hours are. The central campus, the Matthews campus, wherever you can get. Make sure your laptop is up and running. Make sure you have a backup plan if you run into issues. If you are not in class for more than 2 weeks in a row, then you get marked as stopped attending, and you're basically dropped from the course. You have to be actively participating. So make sure you're doing your assignments, make sure you show up to class. Make sure you're here for the exam. The exam counts for over half your grade, the 2 exams combined. If you miss the midterm, then your final exam counts double, which is putting a lot of eggs in one basket. Don't cheat. That's all this says here. Don't cheat. You need to get what you can get out of this class as it is. You're going to struggle on the exams if you don't do your work throughout the semester. And as I already mentioned, the exams are worth a large part of your grade. Make sure you're getting what you can. You're spending money on this. Even if you're taking out student loans, you're paying that back. I can tell you that. So make sure that you're doing your own work and get as much as you can out of the class. This is a big one for me. Last semester at the Central Campus, we heard how some people were held up at knife point when they were leaving campus. So I don't know that we have the same issues down here in Matthews, seeing as there's not the downtown around, but still, if you have any issues, you feel uncomfortable, please make sure you bring it up, and we will call security and get you escorted to your car. It's going to be dark most of the semester when we're leaving campus, so just make sure that you ask and bring it up. Your safety is far more important than any pride or anything like that, or any embarrassment at speaking up, or whatever the case may be. So make sure you ask for that, and we'll make sure that we get you an escort from security. Okay, that's the syllabus. Here is the book. This is the book you need, and there's more information on it here. I'm going to show you right about now here. So we're going to flip back to Moodle quick. My information is on here. Notice that this is the Gmail account, and I have it listed under IM. You can IM me on Google+. You can chat with me. You can friend me. We can use it for the Google Hangout, and I will answer emails from there as well. The next thing I want to point out, if we scroll down under here, we've got this course overview, due dates found here. This is an important section, so let's go ahead and click on this. You're going to notice that this has a whole bunch of sections, and they're all listed over here under table of contents, and you can use this arrow here to scroll through them. So we're going to do that right now. Course overview, EVA quiz. I'm going to talk about that more in a few minutes, but you have to get that done right away. It proves that you're in the class, especially if you're a financial aid student. They want to make sure that you actually show up to class, so you're not trying to commit some kind of financial aid fraud. We did this in class and made sure everybody's done. It should only take you 5 minutes. It's a few questions. You get 10 easy points out of it. Coming up here by the end of tomorrow night already, we've got the Chapter 1 quiz that you'll take and your first C++ program. This assignment here, we're going to walk through setting up the IDE to be able to do it. the one that you're going to use. So that we'll walk through setting it up in this video here, and then we will turn around and there's going to be another video that I'm going to do to post that shows you exactly how to do it. So it's going to walk through doing it for you. Each week, we will have a series of assignments that have to be done. You'll have a coding assignment, sometimes multiple. You will have a quiz, and you'll be expected to do some reading, and then sometimes you'll have a peer programming assignment. So we've got next week quiz 2, code lab assignment 2. This is just another coding assignment where you're going to have a set of requirements you're going to have to write. And then chapter 2, peer programming, where you're basically going to write up some code to solve a problem. You're going to post it on a discussion forum. Then you're going to be expected to go back and critique other people's code, other people's solution to the problem. And you'll have to post in there to get credit. We'll start a project down here. This will be available, I want to say March 15th, so you'll have over 2 weeks to do it. But this is just going to be a series of projects throughout the semester that you're going to build on. Exam 1, March 4th. So you will be through these chapters, and through the first part of the project, you'll have multiple coding assignments when it comes time to do the exam. And then the final exam will be May 6th. We'll follow the same format in the second half of the class. Grading scale. It's a point system. You got 750 total points. And one thing to note, it's very important that you notice, is that exams are worth 400 of those 750 points. You can see your EVA quiz, 10 points. You can see your first program, which you're going to upload to Moodle, is 10 points. And then you've got 6 code lab assignments, 10 points each. 7 quizzes, which are 10 points each. And then you've got your projects, 50 points each, with the big one, the 2 exams. You're not going to do well on the exams if you don't do all this other coding. That's how it becomes second nature, and how you start to speak the language. This is the book. Here are the ISBNs. Go to the bookstore, go on to Amazon. You're going to need this, and you need it right away. You cannot use any kind of digital textbook or digital material on any of the exams, so the exams are open book. One of the things to note as well is that one of the things that I always like to say is I've never written a program or solved a problem like that without having reference material. So we're fine with using open book. You're going to be solving a problem. It's not going to hold the answers in there for you, but make sure you get the book, because we already have a reading assignment through chapter 1 that we should be done with. Code lab. Very important that you get on Code lab right away. You can just click this link, register for Code lab, and choose student. And then section access code is going to be this right here. Copy and paste that in, continue filling it out. You're going to be getting assignments and submitting assignments through Code lab. So make sure you do that right away. IT lab, here's some information about the lab. I believe it talks about the central campus. I know there's one just down from us in the Matthews campus. So familiarize yourself with whatever labs are going to be the most useful for you. This talks about what you're supposed to have in your source code when you're submitting assignment. This section right here is important. This is a comment. This little /* means start a multi-line comment. This */ means stop it. So this is not evaluated by your program. It's not a part of your program. It's just remarks that you leave in there. So we're going to put your name, your date, and you're going to want to put the purpose of your program. I'm not a big fan. I'm a huge fan of comments in your code. I'm just not very good at doing it myself. When you're writing comments, it's very important for you to leave comments throughout your code. As you can see here, this / just means single line comment, where /* means it's going to be multi-line. So you can notice that /* has to have an ending, where a / just says, just take the comment the whole line out. So we can see in this code, we've left a bunch of comments just so that if somebody else comes along, or if it's been a long time, then you can understand what it is that you're trying to do in your code by leaving remarks and comments for somebody else. So I tell you, if you get into development, your first jobs are going to be maintaining other people's code. So you're going to be going in and maintaining code that you didn't write, and these are going to be critical for it. So Put your name, your date. I usually put a version number up here when I'm writing stuff at work, but no, it's not needed for this class. And then some kind of description or purpose of what the application is supposed to do overall. And then you'll put lines in, and we'll just walk right through this program. We're going to talk a lot more about this throughout the semester, but first thing we see here is this pound sign and the include, and then IO stream. This is a header file. It's bringing in some other libraries. This IO stream is for input, output, and that's so we can use the C out and C in, console out and console in. So console out says display this on the screen to the console. C in says take input from the console. So when we run this program, it'll say how many hours were worked, and the user can type in 10, and that input will get stored in this variable right here, hours. Next, we say using namespace standard. We'll gloss over this and talk about this in more detail later. And this is a function. It says it's going to return an integer, a number. The function's name is main. Every program will have main as a function. That's the entry point for the program. That's where it starts. This little curly brace just says, hey, between the starting curly brace and the ending curly brace, everything in between is part of this main function. Here we declare a couple variables where we're saying we're going to have a variable named hours, and it's going to be a double floating point. So it's going to be a number with decimals, charges, another double, a floating point number, decimals, and we can name these whatever we want, with the exception of some keywords that we'll talk about in Chapter 1. But basically, these are labels. We can name them A, B, and C if you want, but it's hard to read that and understand what it's trying to do. So we like to name them something we can read. And then here we say console out, how many hours were worked. So we can see the string here, how many hours were worked, and we see this little double arrows pointing to C out. So we're saying, hey, send this to C out. And then C in, double arrow to hours. So whatever comes back in, we're going to store in this hours variable. And we're going to do some computation here where we're going to say, well, we'll gloss over this this function, this call here, but what we're going to basically say is make sure the hours is at least 5. If it's less than 5, then make it 5. And then we're going to calculate and display the charges. So this must be, we have a minimum charge here. So we have a minimum charge of at least 5 hours. We see up in the comments. So here we're saying if hours is less than 5, then make it 5. If it's not less than 5, then use hours. So if the input here is 1, then we're going to say 1 is less than 5, so just use 5. If it's 10, we're going to say 1 is not less than 5, since it evaluates to false. We're going to use whatever's in hours here. And we'll talk more about that later on. But anyway, that's the main, that's the basic functionality in this application and things that you'll run into. It will become second nature. Read through this on what it's going to take to be successful in the course. Make sure that you understand what's expected of you here. And we're not going to put you through that, but you can watch that little video if you want. And then we've got the course calendar. So we're going to flip back to Moodle real quick. We're almost done with this first section here. We're going to talk about week 1. Each week there will be a section. You can see Chapter 2 here, Chapter 3 and 4, Project 1. These will become available to you on the Sunday before class so that you can get a start on them heading into class. So week 2 and 3, you should be seeing that already. You'll have lesson objectives and what you're going to do. You'll have the reading assignment. You can click on that. It'll tell you what pages and parts of the chapters to read. You'll have some other some video lessons where they'll talk through some things. And then they'll have a PowerPoint presentation that I'll use in class. You'll have some extra frequently asked questions that you can look through, and then the homework section. This must be done right away or you'll be dropped from the course. So get it done right away. Click on it. I think it's like 5 questions, multiple choice, to show that you are actually being active in the class. Here's the introduction to the discussion forum. Introduce yourself, just add some information and about yourself quick. That's all you need to do there. So tell me, answer those questions about yourself. And I'm wondering, it says hidden here. I might not have opened that up properly. So I'll take a look at that when I get done with this video and make sure that's opened up. Chapter 1 review quiz. Take your quiz. Yeah, it's going to close tomorrow night, so make sure you read the chapter and take the quiz with it. Create your Code Lab account. That's what we already talked about in the course overview link where we went in and set it up here. So you just need to do that so that you're prepared. Install Dev C++. So we will click Download and Install Dev C++. You're going to click, make sure that you click this one. A lot of times there'll be another download up here. Let's see if I have it in a different. No, I don't have it anymore. But so a lot of times there'll be advertisements up here, and you can see this download now button here. Make sure you don't click that one. A lot of times the advertisements will try to make it look like this one just to get you to download it. So just make sure you're downloading the right one. Download this Dev C++. Once you download it, run it. You can just take all the defaults to install it, and then you'll be set to go. It's on the lab computers. You can have this at home. Make sure you get that installed. Once you've installed it, click here, and you can save this code here. So you're going to save this code. You can then open the file in Dev C++ and select Execute, Compile, and Run, F9. So if we flip over to, well, here, we'll walk through that one in just a second. Then we're going to talk about your first C++ program. Create a new source code in Dev C++. Type in the source code from program 1.1. Compile and run and fix any syntax errors, and then upload the code. So make sure that it runs, make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. Program run 1 in chapter 1. It's on page, I believe, 9 and 14 in the book. It's also on slide 28, so you just need to transfer that over. There's nothing really you have to do to think. You just need to get experience typing in the language and running a program to make sure your Dev C++ is working right, and then you know how to compile the code. So we'll circle back. I'll go over both of those in detail with Dev C++ in the video, in the third video where I talk about the assignment. Oops. That's about it for the introduction to the class. Weeks 2 and 3, we're gonna move into this week. We're gonna start talking about the next section. Talk about C++ and different variables and things like that. So I'm going to shut this video down here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the next one where we talk about Dev C++ and walk through code, and then I will work on the chapter 1 material that we covered in week 1. I probably will not be able to record till this evening, and I'll post that video as well. So any questions, please feel free to email me.